So as far as that time frame, I make sure they understand that, and I say the word today about 50 times through this presentation. Cool, so yeah, we're gonna go through, I'll check out the financing, we'll check your credit and make sure it's verified today. I'll have you pull up your tax credits or tax forms from last year a little bit later, so I can verify you're gonna get the tax credits today. And then also, you gotta work with our time frame today just because we're working with a group of homes. We get them all taken care of so that way tomorrow we can do your site surveys and send them all out, but that's why we need this today, okay? They're not second guessing me that they can make this decision tomorrow, right? Just how it
Just
works.
a better expectation, like
Exactly.
you're just setting up expectations.
Yep. Exactly. So, I mean, it's just the important part of it. If it's what I like to call 8 miling. I actually got this term with Sam. So Sam talks about 8 miling quite a bit. Because if you guys ever watched the movie 8 Mile with Eminem, right? Essentially how he wins at the end of the movie, or how he like makes the statement, becomes like a bad A, is instead of rapping against these people and essentially bashing on them, he first bashes on himself, and he essentially like says all the stuff that they would say about him before they can, and then when they get up to talk, they don't have anything to say, and then he comes back and beats them. Okay, so 8 miling is essentially, I'm going to bring up all the reasons you're not going to do this first. So then at the end of the presentation, when you're trying to like have cold feet, you sound ridiculous trying to bring up something already brought up.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, so this is something you're going to do today, blah, blah, blah. And I usually say it enough so they're like, wait, do I have to make this decision today? I'm like, yeah, I'll go through it, but it's going to be something you're going to want to do because you'll see the numbers, it'll make sense, it's a no-brainer. And they're like, oh, okay. They love it. Okay?
Awesome.
Like if you're not doing your job right as a closer, you're literally, it's a disservice.
You're scaring them off instead of just,
Exactly.
yeah.
You should know that solar is 1,000 billion times better than Rocky Mountain Power. Even if their payment goes up $50 a month, solar still makes sense for those that can actually see it. So if they don't get it, you're doing them a disservice. So understand that like anybody that doesn't buy, it's your fault. You didn't do a good enough job to explain why this is important. Okay? So I break that down. They understand that. They're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Then I run them through what's called Solar 101. Now that's basically like the first picture that I drew where it has a picture of the panels, it has a picture of the inverter, it talks about it going through the meter, going through their house, then going on the power grid. I explain how solar works to them, pretty simply. Make sure they understand net metering back and forth. The extra power rolls over every single month, just like rollover minutes for your phone with Rocky Mountain Power, with your energy, but then in March, it resets every year. So there's no point in us building a system that's too large for you because all they're going to do is take that extra money as a donation and put it in their own pocket. Okay? So I explain that very simply so they understand. If you underproduce, they're going to send you a bill. No matter what, you have a $6 connection cost, and you'll have that no matter what happens. The reason being is because they're a monopoly. They passed a bill that says if you're within city limits, it is illegal for you to disconnect from the power grid. And if that's not a monopoly, I don't know what is. Okay? So you have to have it. If you were Amish and you lived right here, next to the building, whatever, and you were like, I don't need a power meter, I don't use power, I'm Amish, right? Disconnect that, police would show up to your house and you'd be fined, right? That's crazy. That's serious, that's real. Like I'm not like telling customers this to scare them or something. It's like, that's what happens. It's retarded. So then I break down this graph form after I help them understand that. I also talk about the disadvantages to utility companies. Talk about how they're a monopoly, how it's like a renting versus owning type of system. And I tell them, hey, you made the educated decision X amount of years ago to buy your home. I'm showing you the same educated decision now to purchase your power. If you could have done it back then, you'd have been so much smarter. But unfortunately, I'm here now. But
Didn't exist back then.
Yeah. It's like, hey, you know what the best time to go solar is? 5 years ago is the best time to go solar. So, but fortunately, the best time's right now. So let's do this, okay? So I run them through this and say, this is your cost, this is time. I know what their average bill is going into the home. So I write down 2016. Their average bill, to keep it simple, let's say it's $100 a month. Oh, that's $1,000. $100 a month. Then I let them know. I bring up an article. You go to the Public Service Commission website. I do this right there in the house. Public Service Commission. I go to the electric tab. Once you click on that, like third thing down, it says History of Electrical Rates in Utah. I click on that. It pulls up literally a graph from 1992 down to 2017 on the rate changes that have happened. Okay, it'll also show you if you were to purchase only 700 kilowatts or 600 kilowatts of power every year throughout this, every time this rate change took place. And it basically shows you that their bill goes from $490 at the lowest point. Then it goes through the years up to like $990 or $960, something like that. So it literally shows you that their rate has gone from like upper 400s to mid 900s over the last 15 years. So I show them on their graph, hey, if you purchased the same exact amount of power that you did 15 years ago, you'd have been half the price you'd have been paying. Okay, so what this does, the best way to tell the future is from the past. So then I draw a line here, I say 2030. Say whether you're in the house or not, this bill, if it just follows what it's been doing, you're going to be at $200 a month, right?
No matter what house you're in. Like
no matter what house
your bill's your bill because you can't get rid of Rocky Mountain.
Yep,
Yeah.
you're going up. Or whoever you are, right? Everybody's bill's doing this. Doesn't matter what power company you're with. And most of the other companies that are in Utah are getting most of their power from Rocky Mountain, and then they have something else that's supplementing some other things, and then they're selling it to their city. Okay? Like down in Parowan, they have like a dam down there. They're buying like 80% from Rocky Mountain, they produce a bit with the dam, and then they're giving it to their customers at a different rate. So, but just understand that every utility company is doing this, and I will have run them through reasons why Rocky Mountain Power does this, and they'll continue to do it, mainly because they're investor owned. Rocky Mountain Power is owned by a company called Berkshire Hathaway. That's a stock you can put your investments in right now, and I'd recommend doing it, so they have a really good return on their rates. That company is owned by Warren Buffett, multi-billionaire. He knows how to run a company. So they're going to show profits year after year for investors, and then you're going to pay for those profits to keep going up. Rocky Mountain Power is guaranteed a 15% margin of like money on whatever they charge. 15% of 100 million is less than 15% of 100 billion. So why not charge 100 billion? Right? That's what they're doing. Charging more and more every year because they can show better investments, better returns for anybody. Okay? So what I show people is that your rates are not only going up, this is going up typically to like a 5% increase each year, but the government has been pushing hard for green energy. Utah, we use 82% of our energy, these lights are coming from coal energy. Okay, it's super cheap. We have a lot of coal in Utah. Unfortunately, it's very dirty. So what's happening is that because of the Clean Air Act that was passed back in 2007, we have to cut carbon emissions throughout the United States by 30% by the year 2030. That's also why I write this number. Okay, it's not only just because I can show them the best time frame difference, but also because the Clean Air Act has to be completed by this time, in which power companies have to basically put catalytic converters like they did for cars back in the 80s to make your exhaust cleaner, put those catalytic converters on their systems, or tear their systems down and build new ones. Rocky Mountain Power is typically tearing them down. What they're doing is building natural gas fired plants and also wind generation and solar. There's like a ton of different things popping up that they've been doing. But those are really expensive. Who pays for that? We do, right? They just get their 15% margin. So they're like, oh, we got to increase the rates? Cool, 15% of a higher rate is more money technically, so we'll do that. So what happens here is the way it breaks down, the website, you can go to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. It's a pretty legit website, right? Run by the government. It shows how this Clean Air Act should be affecting power moving forward. And it gives you the top 10 states for power increases moving forward. Utah and North Dakota are tied for the #1 increasing electrical state in the U.S. at a 43% increase over the next 15 years.
That's what they expect costs to go up, another 43%.
43%. You do the math on that, that's 3.9, or sorry, it says 11 years, from 2021 to 2032, something like that. But it's saying for that 11-year span, they expect the rates to go up by 43% on top of what they're already doing. So then I do the math on that for my customers, and I say, cool, take 43%, divided by 11, that's 3.9% each year. 3.9%, so you're equaling 8.9%. Then I show them an article from the Salt Lake Tribune back in 2013, I believe it was. That's when Rocky Mountain Power requested one of its largest rate hikes. And I interviewed Rocky Mountain Power on why they're doing stuff like this. Rocky Mountain Power said, Utah consumers are generally unaware of how much power they're consuming. We're using more power than ever. It makes sense. Technology, it makes sense because of all the new industry that's building here. It talks about it. It says, hey, because of all the new industry and all the new businesses that are coming to Utah, they're attracted to Utah because of our low power rates. What that does is that puts pressure on existing systems, so then they have to create new systems, and now they have to not only create new systems to handle the extra electricity, but they have to change and retrofit